Premier League's back!
Thank God.
Which means I'm here with the most original football video you'll see on the internet. The beauty of football is it brings out passion in opinions like no other sport.
It cannot be that you are honest when you're fielding and not so honest when you're batting. That is nonsense, utter nonsense.
So obviously you all have different opinions to me, and obviously you all feel passionate about those opinions. I welcome you to leave yours down below, and just as I won't hate you for yours, don't hate me for mine. And if I do predict your team to finish lower than you think they will, rather than leaving hate, tell me why I'm wrong. That way I'll look the fool, not you. Since Cardiff got relegated in 13-14, I've had nothing against any team in the Premier League. So as much as you might think I have a deep hatred of your club, chances are I don't really care about you. Just as you don't really care about Swansea. Now I think this looks to be, on paper, one of the best Premier Leagues in recent seasons. As I've said before, I'm looking at the newly promoted teams and thinking they look far more exciting than the teams who went down. With it being one of the best Premier Leagues ever, it also makes it one of the hardest to predict. We'll get on with the predictions then. We'll start in 20th place and we'll start with a big fat shocker. I think bottom of the league will be Stoke 9th place City. Stoke's three uninspiring signings so far have been Choupo-Moting, Darren Fletcher and Kurt Zouma. With two of them being free agents and one of them on loan, it's clear the Stoke board do not trust Mark Hughes with a single penny. And my money's on him to be the first sacked.
I would be looking for revenge, and I think...
To add insult to injury, Stoke have lost their best player in Marko Arnautovic to West Ham. Let's say Mark's bubble at Stoke has finally burst, meaning this nonsense about attractive football can come to an end. Shawcross hooping long balls up to Walters and Crouch, along with fouls and dives, does not equal attractive football. Anyway, Stoke bottom. In 19th place, I have joining Stoke in the Championship, Watford. Unusually for the Hornets, they've had a fairly tame window so far, with three English centre midfielders in Tom Cleverley, Mark Hughes. With three English centre midfielders in Tom Cleverley, Will Hughes and Nathaniel Chalobah coming in. By the way, Chalobah must be thrilled that he's come out of the Chelsea loan structure as a Premier League player, for now. They've also brought in a supposed exciting Brazilian winger who I've never heard of. At the age of 20, it will take him time to settle into English football though. Watford once again have a new manager in Marco Silva, who I'm hoping will still have his job by the time I've uploaded this. Marco Silva, whose reputation is on the up after successfully steering Hull to relegation last year, is still in fairly uncharted territory for him. I don't think people will be singing his praises at the end of this season though. Watford are so heavily reliant on Dini and Capoue with the liability Julio Gomez in goal. I can't see them being as lucky in the injuries, suspensions and loss of form department this year though. And for that reason I fear Watford might be heading for the drop. It is very easy and lazy to predict the newly promoted teams to go down. All the pundits are predicting they'll all finish in the bottom 4 or 5, which is ridiculous. Very rarely do all three have shockers, maybe one, perhaps two. However, I feel the three newly promoted teams are very strong sides. Brighton have proved they can go toe-to-toe with recent Champions League finalists and La Liga champions. Huddersfield have had an incredible window so far with the mad magician in the dugout, and Rafa Benitez is about to go into his first full season with Newcastle in the Premier League. For that reason, I'm saying none of them will go down, and in 18th place, I have Burnley. Very rarely do they stay up, and they've had an awful transfer window so far. They've sold one of their best players in Michael Keane for £25 million to Everton, and have reinvested that in fringe players from other struggling sides. Ex-York man Charlie Taylor looks a good signing from Leeds, but left-backs do not keep you up. John Walters, Jack Cork and Phil Bardsley are hardly exciting signings, and after an uninspiring pre-season including odd goal wins against Alfreton and Kidderminster, I'm predicting Burnley will go down. I'm predicting to sneak safety by the skin of their teeth, Southampton will finish 17th. Mauricio Pellegrino is at the helm of Southampton now, replacing Claude Puel. And he's also replacing Walter Mazzarri as the most forgettable manager in the league. Their only signing so far is a young Polish dude who's a centre-half. And if he's their replacement for club captain Virgil van Dijk, who looks to be heading for the exit door, you have to worry about the state of their defence. Obviously, if Van Dijk goes, they'd have a lot of money to reinvest, so Southampton are one of the more trickier sides to predict. They've also lost fan favourite Jay Rodriguez to West Brom, sadly for Saints fans. I'm sure we all hope he can reignite his career after horrible troubles with injuries. In 16th place, we have newly promoted Brighton & Hove Albion! Because they're not a sexy name, people think they're certain for the drop. But with 3 failed playoff attempts and a promotion, Brighton have been preparing for the Premier League beyond the transfer market for years now. Despite having limited setbacks in his managerial career, Chris Hughton has never really proven himself in the Premier League, meaning this season is absolutely massive for him. Brighton have won their pre-season friendlies with an aggregate score of 14-4, including a last-minute 3-2 loss to Spanish outfit Atletico Madrid. New signing Pascal Gross is settling quickly and is banging in the goals in pre-season. He would be a cheap Big Pete tip for fantasy football. Brighton have added to the squad where they needed to, with strength and depth in central midfield, a new left-back, and a goalkeeper replacing David Stockdale, who shockingly left to join Birmingham despite playing 45 times last year and winning the Championship Goalie of the Year. Anywho, Brighton 5th bottom. Going from one Albion to another, West Brom are 15th. TP may play shitty football, but he keeps teams up. I like the signing of Jay Rodriguez from Southampton, and I think they can cope without Darren Fletcher. Chudley is crucial, and the Baggies will be hoping he stays put. Although I don't. As much as I hate Pulis for some outrageous comments in the press, West Brom will be alright. In at 14th, I have favourites for the drop, Huddersfield. What a turnaround for the football club. In the space of 1 year, they've gone from 19th in the Championship to Premier League. Wagner has worked wonders with the Terriers, and I predict him to prolong the fairy tale by keeping them up after an awesome transfer window. Elias Kachunga, Aaron Moy and Casey Palmer have stayed put, but 2 other crucial players are no longer with the club, in Izzy Brown and Danny Ward. That hasn't stopped the club branching out and smashing their transfer record, with Money hoping to have more of an attacking impact than Floyd Money Mayweather. Tom Ince will be well motivated to finally make it in the Premier League. Danny Williams, De Burte and ex-scum Maloney have come in as well, and I have a massive hunch they'll do the business. In at 13th is my boys Swansea. We're another hard team to predict as we have to see how the club reacts to Gylfi's imminent departure. I want to put on record now that this is a huge mistake on Gylfi's part. He is a million miles our best player and so is allowed to express himself, and we saw with the last time he went to Europa League side how restricted he was. Also, no offence, but it's a bit of an underwhelming team to join. The world-class performances he's had over the years at Swansea really should have attracted Champions League interest rather than Europa League. I wish him the best at Everton, but I'm warning you, Gylfi, you have the potential to be remembered as one of Swansea's all-time best players. This drama you're creating is ruining that. And as we've seen with Ashley Williams, Everton fans will not give you as much love as you had in South Wales. But if you believe you can guide Everton to incredible things, then good luck to you. In other news, we've kept up the annual routine of bringing in a 4th choice goalkeeper in Owen Mulder. And I guarantee you'll never hear that name again. Tammy Abraham is an exciting loan signing who's banging in the goals for fun in pre-season. We were lacking an adequate striker to go with Llorente last year, so I'm hoping Tammy is in addition to Llorente, not replacing him. We've brought in Roque Mesa, who is a Spanish holding midfielder with a dodgy haircut. A signing which paved the way for vice-captain Jack Hawke's departure, who was forced out despite not wanting to leave. Other than that, we've finally gotten rid of the lazy pig that is Bafétimbi Gomez, who we've unbelievably made a £2 million profit on. You will be delighted. Crystal Palace are 12th. Before I made this video, there were about 9 teams who I thought would heavily struggle and probably go down, and Palace are the last of those. Palace have used up both of their get-out-of-jail-free cards with Tony Pulis and Big Sam. They've brought in Frank de Boer, who's had a torrid time in management in recent years. I can see it going all wrong for him, but then who would come in halfway through the season with no get-out-of-jail-free cards left? Palace have lost no one of note, just Steve the Flop Mandanda going back to Marseille. I'm thinking their wingers and spine will keep them up, although they desperately need a goalkeeper and a right wing-back if they're going to make that formation work. Like the gap between 7th and 8th place last year, I can see there being a big gap between 11th and 12th. In 11th is Newcastle. Rafa Benitez is one of the best managers in the world. And after winning the Championship last year, I can see him continuing the momentum gained from last season. For the 2nd year running, they've signed an ex-Sunderland right-back, and their 2 biggest signings were playing in the Championship last year. While Benitez is fuming with Mike Ashley for the lack of transfer activity, Newcastle were a mid-table Premier League team last year. So 11th is written all over them. The big mistake people make when they're predicting a table is going with something similar from the year before. But no 2 seasons are ever the same. Leicester have gone from low to high to low, and I think they'll even it out at 10th. With Mahrez wanting out, people are saying their bubble has burst, but I feel they've made smart recruitments and will be more than alright. After a year of misery at London Stadium, West Ham have had a beautiful window, and they will finish 9th. Chicharito, Hart and Arnautovic are all Premier League proven. I can see West Ham games being very entertaining with plenty of goals at either end, although I don't think the signing of Zabaleta will help much in that department, but I can see West Ham fans having a lot more fun this year. In 8th position, I have Everton. A lot of people have been going on about their great window and are predicting top 4. I'm not all that impressed with their window though. They've replaced a 25-goal-a-season striker with some £5 million Joe from Malaga, and someone who was deemed trash worldwide just a couple months ago, but now is apparently good enough to lead the line for a top 4 club. Away from that, they spent all their money on players from Sunderland, Burnley, Ajax and Southampton's second choice right back. Overall, I don't think they've improved drastically anywhere, but have gotten much worse up front, and I don't see them scoring enough goals to challenge high up. In 7th place, I have another shocker with Bournemouth. Bournemouth finished quite high up last year and haven't lost any of their best players. In fact, the biggest departure is Lewis Grabban once again going out on loan to another Championship club. However, the Cherries have improved significantly. Goalkeeper was always a really weak position for them, and they've signed a top keeper in Begovic. They've also bought Nathan Ake for a club record £20 million, who delivered arguably the best moment in the club's history last year and should hit the ground running back on the south coast. Jermaine Defoe is another lauded signing, although I'm not sure he'll have the same sort of form at Bournemouth as he had at Sunderland. But he's still a decent striking option to add to their quality in that department. Afobe and Ibe have been star performers in pre-season, and I think everything is set at that club to have another wonderful season. In 6th spot, I've gone with Tottenham. Now, Spurs are one player worse off than last year, with Kyle Walker joining title rival City and no one coming in. But considering Trippier was beginning to be chosen ahead of Walker towards the back end of last season, it looks on paper as though Spurs should finish in a similar position. And I know when every pundit under the sun says something will have a big impact on the team, usually that big impact is forgotten about within a couple of weeks. However, I get the feeling Spurs having to play at Wembley will make a big difference. Spurs fans have little to be excited about having to wait a whole year till they can move into their stadium and having no signings. So I can't imagine the atmosphere at Wembley will be bouncing. Spurs will be used to playing in incredible atmospheres, and every away team will be feeling like they're playing a cup final. I can see them having similar problems to West Ham last year. I don't think they will be as embarrassingly bad as West Ham, because they have a good side, but Wembley will affect them. 6th for Spurs. The final team to miss out on Champions League football will be Liverpool. Similarly to Everton, I can see them struggling to score goals. Liverpool had no European football last year, which meant their midfielders were able to come into games with lots of energy and score goals. Liverpool was so heavily reliant on midfield goals last year. Even with the signings of Salah, Solanke and Robertson, I can't see a clear focal point for Liverpool to consistently win them games. Unless a Danny Ings or a Daniel Sturridge steps up to the plate, I can't see Liverpool winning enough games to guarantee Champions League football. Also, you have to look at their transfer window and say it's been piss poor. The 3 main stories this summer for Liverpool have been Virgil van Dijk, Naby Keita and Coutinho. Virgil van Dijk will not be signing for Liverpool this summer, it looks like. Naby Keita will not be signing for Liverpool this summer, it looks like. And it looks like Coutinho might leave. And if that happens, I fear they might even finish lower down. That means a return to the Champions League for Arsenal. I can't see their time in the Europa League lasting long under Wenger. Unlike Spurs and Liverpool, Arsenal have signed a top dollar striker who's already banging in the goals in the red and white shirt. They haven't lost Sanchez yet either, but even if they did, I can see Lacazette proving to be the difference between Arsenal and Liverpool. I've heard people say the signing of Lukaku will guide Man United to a title push, and while I disagree, I can see United finishing 3rd. Zlatan scored 28 goals last year, Lukaku scored 26. That is a £75 million loss on 2 less goals. While I realise it isn't as simple as that, as Romelu will be playing with better players this year, it does show it's not a major difference. The reason I see United rising to 3rd is the spine of the team. Along with Lukaku, Mkhitaryan and Pogba will be settling in after a year. They've just signed Premier League champion Nemanja Matic, and the centre-back partnership of Eric Bailly and Victor Lindelof looks immense in front of David De Gea. That is quite some spine. United in 3rd. For me, last year's champions will be 2nd. But if I was a Chelsea fan, I would definitely take that now. There is a chance everything could go wrong for them again. Chelsea have spent big money on Morata, Bakayoko and Rudiger, none of whom have Premier League experience. Their squad has been depleted to the bare bones with a list of notable departures. To add to that, they've had an awful pre-season, losing to Inter, losing to Bayern and losing the Community Shield final. However, I trust Conte to get the most out of Morata and keep Chelsea bang up there. All that means that for me, the 2017-2018 Premier League champions will be the new look Manchester City under Pep Guardiola. All the names we'd associate with Man City over the years have got to that age where they need to leave Manchester City Football Club and join Manchester City Bridge Club. That age where they're better with their bingo balls than their footballs. That age where they need to stop worrying about pulling their hamstring and start worrying about breaking their hip. They're old, okay? Nolito, Fernando, Kolarov, Hart, Navas, Clichy, Zabaleta, Caballero, and Bakary Sagna have all left. Claudio Bravo and £33 million signing Edison will be battling it out for a first team spot between the sticks. £17 million worth of right back will be battling it out for a first team spot, with Danilo and Walker coming in from Madrid and Spurs respectively. Can I just say, I have no respect for Danilo. He left Real Madrid, where he was second choice, to join a team who just spent £45 million on a right back. Why not go to a team that needs a right back? Joke for man. They've also got £95 million worth of Monaco talent, with Bernardo Silva competing with David for a first team spot, and Benjamin Mendy smashing the transfer record for a left back. The Arabonas have backed Pep and more this summer, as he looks to build his identity into the football club. City seem to have 50 or 60 world-class players, and it's really difficult to see a team sneaking ahead of them this year. Right guys, that is how I feel the Premier League table will look come May. Leave your tables down below. Like the video if you got this far, and subscribe if you're new. I'll see you soon! How is this winning the Premier League? What a joke.